So you're working with seventh graders this year. You probably already know this, but seventh grade is a really important year in a person's life. In fact, it's arguably one of the most important years in all of adolescence. It probably won't feel like it most weeks, but what you're doing this year is going to dramatically influence the future for these seventh graders. They may never say thank you, and you probably won't see the fruit of your investment for years to come. But we promise you, developmentally, these seventh graders are soaking up anything and everything you communicate with them about who they are, how God made them, and the potential they have when they trust in Jesus and live out their role in His story. Sure, there will be weeks when you aren't sure that they're actually listening to anything you say. They might get preoccupied explaining why your socks are lame, or spend half of the group time in shock that you haven't heard of that particular new band. How have you not heard of them? Do you live under a rock? You seriously haven't even heard this new song? Do you guys know my favorite lyric? Want to know the shoe size of the lead singer? Speaking of shoe size, okay, you get the point. Things get off topic pretty fast. Not only that, but you may find that your group plans are either wildly more successful than you'd hope, as in, how are you going to find transportation for 15 seventh graders? Or that your group plans turn out to really just be a one-on-one with the only kid in your group who doesn't have a cell phone yet. That's because seventh graders tend to do everything en masse. They walk the hall in pairs, they go to the mall in a herd, they build unfathomably large social media platforms, which just means that you have the best chance of seventh graders showing up to your afternoon at the movies if they feel certain that everybody's going. When your seventh graders do show up, all of them, you'll probably discover that they are often a silly, loud bunch and maybe have a tendency towards some crude humor. Just don't misinterpret their showy behavior for confidence. Seventh graders are still hyper aware of what other people think of them. They often feel as if the whole world is watching them and cares about their every move. And they care a whole lot about what other people think of them. You might notice their desire for acceptance showing up with just a touch of FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out, which is why it probably seems like your seventh grader has 5 times more going on in their social calendar than you. Relax. It's really okay that your seventh graders are cooler than you. When you accept that, it will go a long way towards showing your seventh grader that it's okay to be okay with who you are. And that's one of the main goals this year. Seventh grade is a year of personal discovery. Not everyone makes the team, even if it's a sport they played all through childhood. Seventh graders are also discovering new interests that they've never tried before. Friendships often shift to reflect their changing interests, but they often don't fully understand why a particular friend stopped talking to them, or they feel guilty about never wanting to hang out with somebody they used to enjoy. On top of all this, changes in the seventh grade often bring out more questions about values and belief than they ever thought to question before. That's why seventh graders are asking one major question this year. Who am I? Seventh graders are beginning to discover that no one is exactly like them, which can be both exhilarating and unnerving. That's why they need someone like you, a non-parental adult influence they can look up to. They need and want your approval. They need someone who will show up consistently and let them know you are uniquely and wonderfully made. Your perspective is important, and I'm here for you no matter what. One of the most beneficial things you can do for your seventh graders is affirm who they are, even if who they are is changing, even if who they are is a little crude, or maybe even a lot mean. Affirm them. Let them know that you like them. Let them know that you see the remarkable person God created them to be. If your seventh graders are restless, if they overschedule their time, if they forget 98% of what you say, if they're obsessed with their self-image, both in person and online, that's okay. That's seventh grade. Remember, they won't be seventh graders forever. Some things will change about their brains and bodies and sense of humor between now and when they're 35. Your role is simply to love them right now while they are a seventh grader. Why? Well, maybe because someone showed up and loved you when you were a seventh grader. Or maybe because seventh grade was a really hard time in your life and you want to do for some seventh graders what you wish someone had done for you. Either way, there's a group of seventh graders who need you this year. So when they bail on you last minute, text them and let them know that you miss them. When they make fun of another kid in the group, let them see that you respect everyone, always. When they break your trust, prove that you are someone who can be trusted. This will be a challenging 52 weeks, but keep showing up so they can see that they are okay, just the way they are.